Ben Flanner is head farmer and co-founder of Brooklyn Grange Farm, a 40,000 square foot soil-based rooftop farm that's 1 acre, located above a former manufacturing plant in Long Island City. Developed in 2010, Brooklyn Grange is considered to be the largest rooftop farm in the world.
It just seems to make sense to me to do something practical on top of rooftop spaces. We have all these empty roofs that have sun bearing down on them all day long. So it makes sense to do something with them that's productive.
Flanner and his team, which includes 4 other co-founders and scores of volunteers, farm the roof about 9 months out of the year. During the growing season, there are hundreds of thousands of plants on the roof. The crops are sold directly to the community at several weekly farm stands, as well as to local restaurants like Vesta, located in Queens.
For someone that comes from the country or someone that comes from the Midwest, that might be an everyday thing. But for someone that grows up in the 5 boroughs of New York City, that's something you've never seen besides maybe your neighbor who has 2 tomatoes planted. And I mean, the taste is just on a level that we would never be able to appreciate if you didn't have something like that, because the supermarket tomato or the supermarket green doesn't taste like what Ben Flanner or the Brooklyn Grange is doing for you.
Giuseppe Falco co-owns Vesta and says having a relationship with Brooklyn Grange has allowed him to make local ingredients a mainstay on his menu.
We're very, very flexible about the items we take from Brooklyn Grange. So for the most part, we'll usually get a phone call once a week, and it'll be like, look, this is what's going to happen on Tuesday, and this is what's going to happen on Wednesday. And we'll kind of cater our menu to that. The fun aspect is being able to tell the farmer, hey, I really like this type of carrot. Can you grow it for me?
In its first year of business, Brooklyn Grange sold 14,000 pounds of produce to local restaurants and farmers markets. It managed to cover its operating costs while making a small profit.
It's not easy to put together such a plan such as this. It takes a lot of dedication and time, and you have to be in it 110% full time. But it's possible. Anybody can do it, and I think the biggest component of it is convincing the landlord that it's worth the risk and that there is a low risk. If somebody owns a big expensive building in New York City, it's a big deal. There's a lot of insurance risks and everything. And the core components, just like a lot of different things, are having a great relationship and trust, and then finding the right people that are willing to take a little bit of a leap with you.
Brooklyn Grange has a 10-year lease with Acumen Capital Partners. The crops are grown in roughly 1.2 million pounds of soil on top of more than 20,000 linear feet of green roofing material. The farm is financed through a combination of private funds, loans, and grassroots money-raising events.
I think a lot of people are excited about having food that's grown so close to their homes and picked so close in time to the point where they eat it and purchase it. So there's a lot of positive response from the community.
Another New York-based company is also part of the rooftop farming revolution. Instead of using dirt, however, Bright Farms LLC grows its produce in a less traditional way using hydroponics, or the growing of plants without soil. Benjamin Lindsley is the Vice President of Business Development and Public Affairs for Bright Farms.
Bright Farm Systems is a design and engineering firm, and we focus on one particular idea, and that is rooftop hydroponic greenhouses in urban areas for urban food production.
In the fall of 2010, Bright Farms was commissioned to design an environmental education center and local food production facility on the roof of the Manhattan School for Children on the Upper West Side.
It's an education facility, so there will be food produced here. It will be using hydroponic technology, and the food will be going into the school's cafeteria for the students.
Lindsley says Bright Farms focuses on delivery of the best quality fruits and vegetables, grown with the smallest possible environmental impact. He claims hydroponic farms use 90% less water than traditional methods by capturing rainfall from the roof and recirculating it. Some greenhouses are heavy emitters of carbon dioxide gases because of the energy needed to heat in the winter and cool in the summer. Bright Farms is able to greatly reduce fossil fuel use by utilizing solar panels and ventilation systems. He also points out since soil is not used in hydroponic farming, the method is lightweight, making it ideal for a rooftop setting. And Lindsley adds some of Bright Farms' climate-controlled greenhouses are capable of producing 250 tons of food per year.
From a commercial perspective, there's a real advantage in being able to be a farmer that grows 365 days of the year. It's an extremely high-yield form of agriculture. It produces a very, very high-quality vegetable, and it's very, very efficient on resources.
While using different methods, both Bright Farms and Brooklyn Grange would agree, growing food in the city is good for the environment and good for people. Studies suggest there could be enough rooftop space in New York City to grow all of the fresh vegetables needed for the nearly 19 million residents.
I think that sometimes in life we get away from the things that come natural. You know, and it's funny, but I grew up in a European household where it was completely natural to walk down the street to pick up vegetables and to pick up meat. And I think we've gotten slightly away from it in the past, 20 or 30 years. And I think that now we're finally starting to realize that that's the way that things should be. It should be that you have some sort of relationship with the person that's growing something for you. And I think that we're finally getting back to that.
Do you get some basil? Okay. I'm good.
For Market to Market, I'm Laurel Bauer-Bergmeyer.